So in this video, I'm going to be talking about the 6 things that I cannot believe people still entertain in the year 2026. Now, before I get into it, I'd love to know what you guys cannot believe people still entertain in 2026. It could be anything and everything. I tried not to be hypocritical when thinking of things for this video. If you think any of my stuff is hypocritical, if you think any of what I say contradicts, let me know down below. I tried my best. And I tried my best not to obviously choose things that I still do in a way, because, you know, I could simply say, oh, I can't believe people still eat fast food or don't exercise in 2026. What the fuck's up with that? But I still eat fast food here and there, and sometimes exercising is hard, so I get it. But let's start with number 1. I cannot believe people still believe in the government, and that people still vote, and that people still think the government has your best interest in mind. I can't believe people still look up to politicians. I can't believe that. It blows my absolute mind, honestly. I've given up on voting, didn't vote in the last election. I used to vote, used to participate in politics. For me, it really ended the last time I voted, which was the election between Hillary versus Trump. And I, regretted I voted for Hillary because at the time I didn't like Trump. But I was voting for the lesser of two evils, and I thought to myself, this should not be our reality. We only get to vote between two really horrible people? Really? Okay. I wanted Bernie to win in that election. But of course, he didn't even make it to the finals. It's like the two-party system is outdated. Obviously, we've discovered in this past year alone the amount of fraud happening, all the stuff that Nick Shirley has dug up and uncovered, all this fraud, all our tax dollars going towards things that don't even benefit us, but are actually benefiting people that aren't even citizens of this country. I'll get more into the Epstein files, but the Epstein files, to me, are just proof that there is a shadow government, and that shadow government consists of people with a lot of money and pedophile rings. So, in my opinion, the government is actually not even what we see. The people who actually control the world, the country, whatever you want to say, we don't even actually see these people. It is not Trump and anybody that you see on television. They're just puppets. And we talk, and come up with theories, and the little people, we're just like, we think we know what's going on. We have absolutely no idea what's going on. If anything, I wouldn't even be surprised if our real government was kind of like, coexisting alongside reptilians, and reptilians were also kind of controlling how society behaves and why society is the way it is. Pretty much, we're in this world where we're distracted. We're distracted by our phones, we're distracted by our jobs, we're exhausted, we're fed poisoned food, so we can stay sick, weak, tired, distracted, trying to pay bills. That's why the cost of living is exponentially rising, but the wages are not increasing at all. So they can just keep us at this level where we are just aware enough of the politics that we are shown, but not enough for us. We're not given enough time, mental energy, capacity, bandwidth to be able to research and dive deeper. And if you do research and dive deeper, you're labeled crazy or a conspiracy theorist. you know, you've got issues, you're paranoid, like, you're ostracized from society now. Just look at David Icke. He's been doing this his entire life. And he's completely ostracized from society. People think he's insane. So, believing in government to me, in any capacity, is, like, sad, and you're looking for some semblance of control. You think you have some sort of control. You think you have choice. And I know it's really hard to understand, and it's really hard to grasp and to swallow the truth that you don't. You don't, and you never will. So, just live life, I guess. My opinion, if we as a society want to move away from this government, there's too many chefs in the kitchen, right? There's too many cooks in the kitchen. The government is too large. It has too much power. Power should be given to the people, not the government. They make way too much money. Their salaries are too high. They should be making small salaries. There shouldn't be as many people as there are. There shouldn't just be a two-party system. We should move away from government. We should be in our own compounds, right? Less reliant upon government, you know, where we can trade and barter with each other, grow our own food, raise our own cattle, whatever. I know it's easier said than done, obviously. This would take decades to really push. We can stop maybe paying taxes or stop paying as much taxes as we do. Rely less upon government, work only maybe part-time, so we can still keep the economy going, but at the same time, we don't need as much dependence on the government. Right now, we are domesticated. We are domesticated by our government. Anyway, this could be a whole video. But that's my solution. Number 2, I cannot believe people in 2026 give a fuck about who people sleep with. I can't believe it. Now, I'm not a big fan of the LGBTQ community. If you've seen that I talk about it, like, I'm not like a Pride fan. I don't celebrate Pride. I'm a gay woman, by the way, if you don't know. I don't do the Pride stuff. I'm not proud of being gay. The things I'm proud of are the things in my life that I've accomplished and worked hard for. I'm not proud of being born liking women. That's not something I'm proud of. But what I'm sick of is people that are still hardcore, so gung-ho about people being gay. We're two consenting adults that like each other, love each other, are attracted to each other. What the fuck is the big deal? Why do you care who I touch my genitals with? Like, as long as it's two consenting adults, nobody should give a fuck about who's sleeping with who. Why do you care so much? The only time that I will ever care about something occurring within the LGBTQ community is if children get involved. Anybody under 18 should not be pushed upon them. They should not be indoctrinated. They should not be learning about it. It should not be a prominent part of their life. If they want to explore and think about it and on their own time, that's good for them. They can do that. They shouldn't be judged. Obviously, I'm saying right now, I can't believe people judge other people for who they sleep with or who they want to sleep with. But they should not be given hormones and drugs and things like that. And another thing is, if you are impeding upon another person's rights or fairness, meaning, or spaces, right? You're impeding upon others, meaning trans women should not be allowed to use women's bathrooms. Trans women should not be in women's sports. Things like that. If you are impeding on someone else's life, fairness, space, privacy, anything like that, of course I will say something about it. But if you are just minding your own business, keeping to yourself, not bothering anyone else, literally, who the fuck cares? And all of this comes about because of religion, which is number 3. The third thing that people entertain in 2026 that just blows my mind, religion, any religion. I am not I do not discriminate when it comes to religion. Any religion, Catholicism, Christianity, any Middle Eastern religion, Islam, any religion that people are still believing in, which causes people to be this judgmental, to me is like you still believe in Santa Claus. This is like adult Santa Claus. I cannot believe people still take religion seriously. I cannot. To me, it's a joke. It's a fucking joke. I can't believe, like, every post online, you'll probably see one comment at least on every single post online talking about some sort of religion, right? You need Jesus. Oh, if only people read their Bibles. Oh, you can't be gay because God says it's not correct. God can suck my dick. Like, I'm an adult with free will and independent. God's not paying my bills. You know, if God exists, he can suck it because his world, his earth fucking sucks. The people he's created on this planet suck. People suck. So why would I ever respect a God who fucking is invisible, does not reveal himself to me, does not prove that he is real? Oh, you have to have faith. I don't give a fuck. I don't have faith because there's nothing to have faith for. There's nothing to have faith for. There is no God. The truth about reality is, unfortunately, something that the human brain, the idiotic, stupid human brain, could never comprehend. You don't understand how stupid humans are in comparison to the universe, in comparison to what this actually is. We could never comprehend what this is. The only time you will discover the truth is when you die. And anybody who thinks otherwise is incredibly arrogant. And arrogance and thinking you know everything, all that is related to low IQ. The fun part about being, I wouldn't even consider myself high IQ, but maybe slightly above average intelligence than the average human. The great thing about that is knowing I know nothing. It's knowing I know nothing, and knowing that we're not gonna know what happens to us until we die, or what's real or what reality is until we pass on. And I'm, I guess, fine with that. I mean, I'm not fine with that because I didn't ask to be here, and life kind of sucks, especially at the moment. Life kind of sucks. So I didn't fucking ask to be here. I'm kind of tired of being here at the ripe age of 33. So, yeah, I think people use religion, understandably, to kind of get past really difficult points in life. A lot of people use religion to overcome addictions. And some people do need a God. Some people need God to have motivation to listen to their morals and values, okay? A lot of people will be like, well, if you don't have religion, how do you have morals and values? What the fuck are you talking about? It's called integrity. It's called common sense. It's called kindness and empathy and consideration for other people who have to share this shit planet with you. Like, what do you mean? You needed a book to tell you what morals and values to have? That is so wild to me. Like, obviously murder bad, stealing bad, lying bad, treating others the way you want to be treated, good. Like, why do you need a book to tell you this? I've never read the Bible. I've seen some things. I think, like, the Bible is good sometimes for philosophical reasons, or sometimes it does give, like, some good life advice in there. But ultimately, at the end of the day, if a book is telling you what not to do, or else you're going to go to a fiery, burning hell, and one of those things, you know, those things are actually, like, really ridiculous, like eating shellfish, or mixing fabrics, or being gay. If a book is telling you these things, And it's more than just murder, you're in a cult. You're in a cult. This is cult-like verbiage. Like, being told you can't do something that's pretty mundane, like sleeping with someone, two consenting adults just sleeping together, someone saying that that's wrong and that you're gonna go to hell because of that. To me, that's like you're in a cult. You're in a cult. Now, if it was just saying things like murder's wrong, stealing's wrong, lying's wrong, that to me is common sense. Okay, maybe some people need a book for that because these people want to do bad things, but they're motivated not to, so they don't go to hell. Okay, I guess that's good. I don't need that. I never have needed that. I'm just like a person who considers other people when I think. I think before I do. And I consider other people in my actions. Just always have, always will. Anyway, if you're religious, that's kind of strange. But enjoy your adult Santa Claus. Enjoy it. I guess. If that's what makes you happy, if that's what makes you feel better, I guess ignorance is bliss. At the end of the day, you're using religion to make yourself feel better about this shit life. I've just accepted that life is shit. And, whatever happens to me next is probably going to be shittier than what's already been happening to me. So, I've just accepted that. And it does give me kind of like this awful feeling of anhedonia, which is just like, don't find pleasure in much of anything anymore. But I don't need to find pleasure in order to just survive. To me, life is a roller coaster. It has its ups, it has its downs. Eventually, someday, I'll be on an up again. And then I'll probably be on a down again. And to me, I've just accepted that about life. At the end of the day, the door's always open to exit on your own accord, which is not my first, it's definitely not my first, solution to the shittiness of life. I definitely don't want to do that, mostly because there's people I care about here that I don't want to hurt, but that is always an option if you really, really just can't stand it here. I think the best thing that we can actually learn as humans is how to deal with the shittiness of life without numbing, without drugs and alcohol, without a god, without thinking that something is going to come save us. I think as humans, the biggest lesson we can learn is how to accept and be okay with the fact that life is shit. And that's growing up, that's maturing. Realizing that life is shit. And it's okay. Everybody experiences the shit that which is life. Even people who have everything that you want, they're still experiencing shitty lives. I'm telling you, I promise you. Anyway, sorry to be very negative. I try not to be. I'm kind of in a shitty mood today, so. Alright, I think this is 5. Number 5. I cannot believe that people in 2026 still drive slow in the left fucking lane. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. What? The left lane is for passing. Do I really have to say much else? The left lane is for passing. So if you're camping out in the left lane, number 1, that's dangerous. It's more dangerous than you know. People think, oh, I'm going the speed limit, I'm safe. Oh, I'm going slower, I'm safe. You realize slower cars cause more accidents than speeding cars. I'm not saying to speed, just to speed, but that's the truth. That's a true statistic. If you're camping out in the left lane and not passing anybody in the right, you can get pulled over. It's actually illegal to do that. And people still camp in the left lane. They're just like, blah, 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 blah. You're a fucking idiot. You're an idiot, man. You're a bad driver. If you want to camp out, if you want to drive slow, get to the middle lane or the right lane. Stay out of the left lane. The left lane is for passing only. And if there's no more cars to pass, get over. Now, I understand that being in the left lane and passing people, but yet still being tailed by the asshole in the back, is also frustrating. I've been there. I've been like, I'm going 20 miles over the speed limit, I'm passing people, and you're still on my ass, you fucking asshole. Those people have anger issues. Those people have their own issues. And anybody having road rage like that is also at fault and is also being dangerous, okay? There's safe ways to pass in the left lane. And there's dangerous ways to pass in the left lane. Just use your common fucking sense and continue your consideration of others and your safe defensive driving techniques, okay? These are things that we learned way back when we were 16 years old in driving class in high school. So, you know, go read a driver's ed book if you really have to. If you don't believe what I'm saying, go read a driver's ed book. Stop camping out in the left lane. This is how we get rush hour traffic. This is how we get crazy, stressful, awful rush hour traffic that people have to sit in twice a day, every fucking day to go to work. So stop doing that. Stop it. Okay, last thing I'll talk about, and then I'll stop talking your ear off, although you're the one that's here. I'm not forcing you to be here. So I guess if you're enjoying it, you're still here. Thank you. The last thing I'll talk about is the hatred of any group of people. The hatred of any group of people. That might be probably the most contradictory statement of all of them, because you could say, oh, well, it sounds like you hate people who believe in the government. It sounds like you hate people who are religious. It sounds like you hate people who drive slow in the left lane. Wait, this might not be the last one. Hold on. This might be number 5, and the last one was number 4. Sorry. It sounds like you hate people who drive slow in the left lane. It sounds like you hate religious people. You know, I don't hate anybody, number 1. First of all, my girlfriend still votes. My girlfriend likes things that I don't like. We disagree on a lot of things, and I still date her, and I still love her, and we're still together. I don't hate anybody, and if I disagree with you, I don't really care. As long as you're not trying to force your fucking opinion onto me. I don't do that to other people. So as long as you're not trying to, like, force your opinion onto me and still, like, you know, I don't hate anybody, is what I'm trying to say. I give everybody a fair shot. I judge from person to person, as opposed to just dismissing people. Like, if someone says, well, I do vote and I do believe in the government, I'm not just like, okay, fuck off, you stupid idiot. Like, I actually want to listen. I'm curious. I want to hear your perspective about it. And at the end of it, we still might disagree. It doesn't really mean much. And just because I think, like, okay, you're probably a little brainwashed, you're a little stupid in that area, to me, it doesn't really mean much, because, first of all, why do you care what I think about you, number 1? I don't care what you think about me. Number 2, I'm also brainwashed and stupid in many areas. I am stupid in math. I'm horrible at math. I'm retarded at math, in fact. And I'm probably brainwashed in some areas as well. So when I call you stupid or brainwashed, to me, it's like, it doesn't really mean much, because I know we're just both human beings trying to survive on this planet. And we should be able to criticize each other while still having love and consideration for each other. We don't have to be best friends, but we should still care and have empathy, basic levels of empathy and care for each other, right? So when I say hatred of groups, this is what I'm talking about. I really am just fed up with racism and the hatred mostly of men and women, misandry and misogyny, racist towards any group of people, white, black, Indian, brown, whatever. I think hatred towards these entire groups of people that are incredibly large, like men and women, that's 50% of the planet. Men versus women, that's 50% of the planet. So if you hate men, you hate 50% of the people on this planet. If you hate women, you hate 50% of the people on the planet. If you hate black people, you hate a lot of people for no reason. If you hate white people, again, you just hate a lot of people for no reason. I think a lot of this hatred is perpetuated by the internet, of course. By stereotypes. It's like, what we are hating mostly is not the lack of melanin or the fact that there is melanin. We're not hating, we're hating a culture, right? Maybe, I can sit here and say I dislike hood culture. Or I can sit here and say I dislike white trash culture or hick culture, right? Southern hick culture. Or I can sit here and, by the way, I'm not saying any of this as truth, I'm just saying this as an example. I'm not telling you what I hate. Or I can say that I hate the red pill manosphere, and I hate feminism and misandry, and so you see what I'm saying? I'm not saying I hate women or men or black people or white people. I'm saying what I actually hate that exists within these groups of people. I don't actually hate the groups of people themselves. I think, generalizing like this is low IQ behavior, and I cannot believe that it still happens in 2026. And especially the hatred of men and women and the hatred of white people is super, super high and accepted and normalized. Normalized is the word I want to use. The hatred of white people is becoming more and more normalized each day, and so is the hatred of men. These two things are becoming more normal each day, while the hatred of women is... I don't want to say it's going down, because we do have a growth of incel culture and the manosphere and MGTOW kind of growing, but... we could say maybe it's kind of staying the same, but morphing into something else. Racism towards black people is probably the most stigmatized form of hatred of a group of people, especially in the USA. This is something that's also not acceptable, and it still exists. I just don't think it exists at the level at which they're saying that it does. Sorry. But any hatred towards any group of people, I think, is low IQ behavior. Generalizations, extreme large generalizations of these very large groups of people, to me, is stupid, low IQ behavior. I cannot believe it's still happening in 2026. Okay, now the last thing. Caring about celebrities. I cannot believe... I think it's going down. I think it's lowering. I think we've just been woken up through the Epstein files, through realizing that Ellen DeGeneres, the kind lady, is actually Ellen DeGeneres, the degenerate evil lady who eats babies. I think we're opening our eyes now, finally in 2026, to see that celebrity culture is toxic, low IQ. It's like, I understand, like, appreciating art, right? Appreciating good acting, appreciating a good movie, appreciating good music. I understand that, and I understand why people go crazy for this stuff. They go crazy for entertainment. It's a form of escapism, right? Entertainment. But just the pure obsession, or giving celebrities a platform to speak about whatever they want, when, you know, what's their credibility? Like, okay, you acted in a few movies. You have millions of dollars. That's what makes you credible? To speak about politics? To speak about public health? To speak about social issues? No. Just because you have a platform doesn't mean you have a right to speak about these things, or that you have the ability to speak about these things. Yeah. There's a reason why Hollywood is called Hollyweird, because it's really just a bunch of pedophiles in a pedophile ring. That's really all it is. I've never been huge into celebrity, like, the craze of celebrities and taking celebrities so seriously. Of course, when I was a little bit younger, I had celebrity crushes and whatnot, but I quickly grew out of that as I morphed into an adult and got my own life and, you know, started building my life. I think we're going to see more and more and more a kind of drop off of giving celebrities such a high pedestal, especially these, like, A-listers who are 100% probably most likely involved in, like, the Illuminati. So, and again, I think this connects with the government as well. I no doubt think that the government is connected with Illuminati, Hollyweird, A-lister celebrities. It's just people who have money. Just people who have money. The 1%ers. The club that you will never enter. So yeah, that's pretty much it. The things that people still entertain in the year 2026 that shock the fuck out of me. Again, let me know down below if you've been thinking, wow, people still do this shit in 2026. It's like, I say this because, like, we've just gone decades and decades and decades and centuries and centuries and centuries thinking in some of these ways. Like, that's enough, man. That's enough. Like, let's evolve. Let's push past. Stop caring so much about the lives of others. And stop driving slow in the left lane, okay? Anyway, I appreciate you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.